Someday, and that day may never come, I may call upon you to do a service for me. But, until that day, accept this as a gift.
Enthusia.
Rated M for mature.
Kim,
Christ, Andrew, you look terrible.
I can imagine.
You really have to hurry. This is where we split. With RV at the main gates exiting the compound. I'm sorry to leave you to it, but the prison's understaffed for New Year, so you shouldn't have any problem getting out. Stay in contact using the in-ear comms unit I gave you.
Understood.
Good luck. Make your way through the doors. I'll be back in touch. Out.
Kim, I'm through.
Okay, Andrew. To exfil, we need to RV at the gates in the outer courtyard of the prison. Between you and those gates are 2 smaller courtyards, the catering wing of the prison, and about 12 guards. You may need to deal with them head on. I've chosen the catering wing as it's likely to be quiet at this time of night, but take care. The guards in the outer courtyards are better trained than the goons you've been dealing with so far. Take every precaution necessary. Once you're at the entrance to the catering wing, radio in and I'll talk you through. Kim out.
Locked. Kim, I'm at the gates to the catering wing, but they're locked. I need options.
Hold tight for a second. I'll get back to you. Out. Andrew, the only other route available to you is through the barracks. That's your target.
Guard density?
No clear intel. Sorry. You'll be able to tell me soon enough, though. Out.
Kim, it looks like there are only 3, maybe 4 men on duty in the barracks.
Okay. Still tread carefully, though. There's plenty of backup available in the outer courtyard. I'm overlooking it now.
Understood. Out.
Andrew! You have company!
The trucks block the way through.
Search it for arms and get out of there. I'm going to move into position near the exit gates. Come out.
Shape charges. Kim, I've just found a way through those locked doors. I'm heading back there now.
You've got the key?
You could say that. I'll be through soon.
As soon as you are, I'll start securing the exit. I have visual on at least 2 small patrols. Out.
Kim, I think we have a problem.
I see it. Just get into the outer courtyard and we'll deal with it. I should be able to make my way through to give you backup.
Understood. Out. Kim, I'm in the outer courtyard. Do you have a visual on the heli?
I don't. You?
Nothing.
Okay, making my way across to you. Andrew! I have contact! I can't get across! You'll have them! Incoming! Incoming!
Countless days have passed since Ayame left her home. As an agent of Goda, she was charged with watching over the lands. More than 300 milestones have passed her by. Billowing smoke, raging fire, a lonely village, pillaged and burned. This is where the path has led Ayame. In a time of war, a burning village is nothing uncommon. However, the bodies among the ashes catch Ayame's eye. A ninja, and another, and another. Intuition? Or just a hunch? Without knowing why, she is overcome with a sense of urgency. Ayame rushes into the village.
Kappa.
Sorry, old man. Boss's orders.
Kuroya.
Kuroya? Is that who did this?
Futaba! Elder! You! You did this! You killed everyone!
You don't look dead.
Well, what are you gonna do about it?
Look, I doubt you're gonna believe anything I say. So let's just get this over with. Does the name Kuroya mean anything to you?
Never heard of it. Not that I tell you anyway. Finish me off!
Got no reason to. To be honest, I'm a little busy at the moment. Maybe next time, kid.
You dare dishonor me like this? Damn it! Damn!
What is our task? Deathly cold. Deathly cold. Deathly cold. Deathly cold. Chilling wind. Deathly cold. Deathly cold. Let's go! Nice knowing ya. 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 Nice knowing ya.
No way!
Nice knowing ya. Nice knowing ya. Nice knowing ya.
No way!
Nice knowing ya. Nice knowing ya. Nice knowing ya. Nice knowing ya. Nice knowing ya.
Rated M for mature. Riveting and engrossing, says GameSpy. A quantum leap forward in battlefield simulation, says Game Informer. Shock-inducing, awe-inspiring, states EGM. The most authentic military gaming experience. The greatest commanders don't just lead their men to victory, they lead them home. Full Spectrum Warrior, coming soon for PlayStation 2.
I guess this is supposed to be my big speech where I say something heart-stirring and get you all wound up for the fight. Thing is, I don't know how to do that. I'm just a grunt. What I do know is this. If we fail today, we fail not only ourselves, we fail the world. That's no exaggeration. We save the world here, now, today, or die trying.
Taking fire!
Oh, it's on.
Club 3, Dub Edition. This product is not yet rated.
As society grows more dependent on technology, we don't stop often enough to appreciate nature. But in Red Dead Revolver, your life may well depend on it. I'm Linnea Leiden with Sony Format QA. Today, I'm going to show you how to defeat Mr. Black. As you confront Mr. Black, you'll notice that he has a large coffin on his back. He uses this to store an early model machine gun, so it's important to keep away from him at all times. You can use Mr. Black's weapon to your own advantage, because he'll use it to mow down friend and foe alike. In order to avoid getting shot, you can hide behind the tombstones in the cemetery. However, you may notice that all obstacles in this game are destructible except one. Once you've dispatched your enemies, head to the old tree at the corner of the cemetery. This tree is the only object in the level that Mr. Black can't shoot through. Keep it between him and yourself at all times. Mr. Black will fire his machine gun until he runs out of bullets. At the point where he rolls back onto the coffin, he's vulnerable. That's your opportunity to fire. Use the L1 button to keep the targeting reticule on him at all times. Occasionally, you'll need to fire in order to provoke him. Now he's vulnerable. Fire your weapon. As soon as he recovers, get behind the tree again. Make sure to reload every time. He will approach the tree as you continue to play, so be on the move. Wait for him to fire his machine gun. And you'll be able to take him out one last time. Thus ends Mr. Black, and our cool move. When you confront Mr. Black on Chapter 10, there are a couple things to remember. First, he will fire on his own men in order to get to you. Use this to your advantage. Secondly, remember that all obstacles on the level are destructible except for the old tree, so keep it in between him and you at all times. Good luck.
Want to do something wild? Want action and adventure and travel to new lands while saving the world from artificially intelligent chimps? All of this happens right in the palms of your own hands when you play Ape Escape on the PlayStation Portable. This brand new multiplayer version of the quirky and humorous Ape Escape franchise is tailored specifically for the PSP. Launching a game on a new platform raises the level of excitement for the game player and especially the game producer.
Well, the whole year has been exciting. Every day of it. We're launching a whole new technology, portable games. And every day I've been thinking about how I can try to work with this new platform. But the most exciting thing is that a cutting-edge game becomes your own. You don't need to share it with anybody else. The game is personal.
Ape Escape is all about tracking and capturing the monkeys in 40 different minigames with 100 variations featuring a barrel full of fun.
This is basically a game where you catch monkeys with a net. Now, some monkeys who gain intelligence try to go back in time and change history. Then to prevent this and to protect the world, your character travels through time and catches the monkeys. One of my favorite levels is the very first level called Ancient Time. You can enjoy simply capturing the monkeys. Another one is the last level. It's like a carnival where there's a cowboy show, a ghost house, and a roller coaster.
The Ape Escape series has always been a pioneer in video gaming. It was the first to utilize the DualShock controller, and now it's one of the first games available on the PSP with a new focus on function and flexibility.
The first Ape Escape was launched with the controller with DualShock. The PSP version was made free of the interface with the DualShock environment. Now, the most challenging development issue we had was how to comfortably play this game without DualShock. We started designing a game where the major difference was not having DualShock. The gadgets were designed for several action games. Now, in the other series, you have to choose the gadgets to control the DualShock. But in the PSP version, we assigned each gadget to a button. you used to have to hit with the gadget and switch to a net in order to capture monkeys. In the PSP version, you hit and capture them all with one button. The new gadgets are easier to control than the original versions. For example, in the previous versions, you used the radar only to find the direction of the monkeys. But in the PSP version, once you find a monkey, the radar keeps showing where it is, so you can keep track of missing monkeys in real time. And there are some other improvements as well.
There are several different ways to play Ape Escapes on the PSP. Of course, you can play solo, but there's also a two-player mode where two gamers can go head-to-head on one PSP. Player 1 gets the D-pad, and Player 2 uses the game buttons without needing to link up. Things can get really crazy when you go Wi-Fi and link 4 players swinging their nets to snatch some simians.
We're aggressively pursuing the wireless LAN feature in PSP. With regard to Ape Escape, here's the fun part of using the wireless LAN. You actually have the ability to play against your friends who all have ad hoc mode.
Here's a little advice on how to make the best use of your opposable thumbs playing the game.
The PSP version has a lot of message boxes to help users, and they're always shown in all stages, so make sure to hit them to get some advice. And you can have a blast even after clearing the game, so be sure to keep playing.
If you want any more inside info, you'll have to play the game yourself, because when it comes to features and secrets...
Oh yeah, there are many. But if I tell you, I'd spoil all the fun of the games, so I'm not about to tell you that right now.
So it's all up to you to save the world from being overrun by apes when you play Ape Escape on the PSP.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me.
Combining the legendary tales of our past with an enigmatic hero, visceral combat, and flawless cinematic animation, God of War emerges as a game destined to be as classic as the mythology upon which it's based.
When you first pick up the controller, you're instantly in the game and it's very easy to understand how to play. But the more you explore and the more you start to learn the combat system, the deeper it becomes. It really rewards you for trying out different things, finding out what your style of how you want to finish the game or beat this particular enemy is.
To me, the system in God of War is much more organic. You can go into this like lightning bolt super move, and the guy's just getting rocked completely, and sort of chaining all those things together is something that hasn't come out in any games yet, but I think we really nailed it in God of War.
In their quest to create some truly dynamic animation, the creative team found themselves experimenting with all sorts of innovative techniques to create the game's landmark visuals.
That's the feeling we want to achieve, is that the controller kind of just melts away and you're just taking part in what's happening on screen.
We work with a very talented group of animators. You know, you can't just describe something in words, you know, when you're talking about the way some of these moves should work. So you definitely get up and you act stuff out, and I've had more than one embarrassing situation where I've been in the middle of a meeting and I'll get up and have to demonstrate, oh, he'll be like this, and I end up on the floor and I'm laying all prone on the ground. It gets very physical.
I'd say my favorite sections are some of the hero animations, especially the blades, the fluidity we were able to achieve with blending so many different moves. We're able to achieve that through some of the coding and then some of the animation kind of working together as cohesively as we can. In certain games, it doesn't seem like much attention has been paid to it, but in this game, we put a lot of attention into that. With God of War's visuals this complex, it's imperative that all the animations be tested repeatedly to meet the expectations of not just the gamers, but the producers themselves.
We fine-tune the game to the nth degree. A single combat move will often be worked on for a whole day by the combat designers. A tremendous amount of attention to detail is required to really get the emphasis right and make sure that the player is experiencing what you wanted them to experience.
With gameplay this epic, the creative team worked especially hard in giving the game a grandiose feel that would appease the very gods upon which it is based.
So we spent a lot of time working on a really good camera system that allows very kind of cinematic camera shots. You know, you can have a traveling camera follow the character along a corridor, and it can do anything that you could do in film to feel like it's raining. We spent a lot of time working out how to make a rain effect that was really convincing as a rain effect. You walk into a desert, we wanted to get a kind of a desert sandstorm feel.
In coming up with a way to match the game's legendary story with its visual style, two types of animation were fused together to immerse the player into the game.
Well, we've explored the idea of a new visual for what we call the cinematics, which is the in-game movies for this story. Images become 2D instead of the traditional 3D, but then they transition back to 3D and start moving around, and they transition back to 2D.
When you first see the camera just kind of zoom through these 2D plates, almost like you're moving through a photograph. Once the camera focuses on a character or a certain thing that's going on, that's when it just all of a sudden pops into 3D.
And the idea is that these are all memories of Kratos, they're all flashbacks, and it's told so it's instantly identifiable by the audience that things are hazy, it's clear, you can tell what's going on, but it's that dreamlike feel that we wanted to get across, that these memories are forced on him. He doesn't want to remember, but they're forced on him.
Just as the tales of ancient Greece have resonated throughout time, God of War concludes with an ending that's sure to have gamers talking through the ages and possibly paving the way for stories into the future.
Kratos, before you reach Athens, there is a task you must complete.
God of War is our attempt to really elevate the action-adventure genre to the next level. We wanted to bring combat, exploration, navigation, puzzle solving, all of sort of the classic elements of the genre, but we wanted to bring those to players in a fresh way, in a way that they haven't really seen before. If we're successful, which I think we will be, we'll get to tell stories about Kratos for a long time.
You will need the power of the gods. Take this weapon, Kratos. Take this power and use it to defeat your enemies.
The gods sent me to destroy you!
Action and great prizes on the line, you know it has to be PlayStation Big Hookup. What's that all about, you say? To refresh your memory.
The PlayStation Big Hookup is a 10-city tour where we've gone to amateur skate parks and tried to locate the best up-and-coming action sports talent. 10 different skate parks in 10 cities. The top 10 finalists in each action sports discipline, inline, skateboard, and BMX. We flew them to camp for an all-expense-paid week of training at Camp Woodward, the premier action sports camp in the country.
Yes, it's true. PlayStation picked up the tab to bring 30 of the hottest young action sports prospects to the mecca of action sports training.
Woodward is a very special place. Obviously, it's a camp, but it's a mix of facilities and staff that are very passionate about the sports we do. If you looked at the X Games and some of the major competitions, I would have to say that 90–95% of those athletes all were part of the Woodward family at one point and still are.
In other words, if you want to be the best, you got to train with the best. But no one can train 24/7. There has to be some time to chill out. That's when the PlayStation Lounge comes into full effect.
The PlayStation Lounge is kind of a social area where kids can get together, check out what PlayStation has to offer, as well as, you know, have that full camp experience of hanging out with friends right here at camp.
They can't skate, they can't bike, they can't inline skate 100% of the time. So in the lounge, they can go down there and cool off and sit in a video game and relax a little bit, but they're right back at it. So it has been a big improvement, no question about it.
Let's not forget why the 30 talented athletes were really here. To train hard with the best instructors for a week, then compete for a grand prize in each discipline: BMX, inline, and skateboarding.
After the week of training, there was a competition here among the winners, and we picked one grand prize winner in each discipline.
The finals format featured 10 open jam sessions, followed by a 2-minute showcase. Then the top 3 from the preliminaries of each discipline competed in the finals for the grand prize.
PlayStation Big Hookup Grand Prize winner will get $5,000 and the opportunity to train at Camp Woodward, either East or West campuses in 2005.
It started out rough and it turned into probably one of the greatest times I've been on my bike. Insane riding, cool people, atmosphere is insane, so it's worth it. It was unreal. I mean, it was probably one of the best contests you could see. Just a bunch of amateurs riding like pros.
After 10 PlayStation Big Hookup events across the country, the week-long training camp at Camp Woodward, the bumps, the bruises, the wrecks, and the final competitions, these guys weren't just action sports heroes, but endurance champs as well.
This is like the biggest contest I've ever won, and like, I just can't believe I've never done a run like that in my life. Like, I just landed all of my tricks, and all my tricks were hard for me, so it's just crazy.
I've never been in such like a large amateur competition like that. Like something with like, where the stakes are just like so high. When I was announced the winner, it was complete shock because this is like a dream come true. And being the first winner of something like this, just, you know, tops it off.
From Northern California, ladies and gentlemen,
It was so much fun. I love competing. I love riding with other riders and egging each other on to just pull the hardest stuff. You know, one person pulls one thing, and then you want to pull another, and then the crowd gets in it, and you feed off that mostly. And people scream. It's all over from there because you just start pedaling and you don't stop.
And there's no stopping PlayStation Big Hookup. It just keeps rolling along.
PlayStation has always supported action sports, but we wanted to do something more grassroots where we actually get involved with the up-and-coming riders and help them perfect their sport. Everybody supports everyone else, and the kids were so excited about the prizes that we gave away, and we saw some amazing talent.
Next year, we're hoping to make the Big Hookup even bigger. We hope to get a lot more kids involved for next year, and we're looking forward to meeting a lot more kids, so it's going to be really exciting.
We're going to have bigger prizes, more kids entering. We're going to be flying more kids to the camp to get a week training here at Woodward, and we're going to keep bringing the kids the best gaming experience that they can have.
So keep on practicing and be on the lookout for your chance to score with
PlayStation Big Hookup!